Chen, formerly known as Roaming Millennial, is one of the most extreme right-wing Christian YouTubers around today. She's also one of the most popular. She is half Chinese, half Caucasian, and 100% total fucking idiot. She has defended white supremacist Richard Spencer on the basis that he isn't advocating people be killed. How reassuring. She has also supported and defended Nick Fuentes, another white supremacist who has openly denied the Holocaust. Chen has also expressed a shared belief in the Great Replacement conspiracy, despite the fact that that would make her, being of mixed ethnicity, part of the fucking problem. She's that stupid. She's also against abortion, anti-feminist, anti-gay rights, denies that racism still exists, and doesn't think being transgender is a real thing. So now we all know that about her, let's see what Chen has to say on the subject of zoophilia. But before we get fully going, I would just like to take this moment to give a shout out to my Patreon. My Patreon is my main source of income, and any support you guys can give me is as little as $1 will give you access to some exclusive content. In fact, I'm going to be uploading a sort of follow-up video to this one tomorrow after this one's gone up. And so if you go support me on that, it is greatly appreciated. Other than that, a like and a comment would do nicely. But please consider supporting me on Patreon. I need it now more than ever. Thank you very much. Enjoy the video.
Hey, Lauren here.
Hey, Lauren!
Let's talk about how I was right.
Spoiler alert. She ain't.
And now I'll be the first to admit that I am not always right.
Will you? No, I don't think you will actually, darling. I think there's a couple of few 100,000 people who will tell you that you're fucking wrong before you are definitely not the first one, are you? Otherwise, that's literally, your videos would be fucking you basically saying something and then going, oh no, that's bollocks.
Right, but I am sometimes, and dare I say, often right.
You are often right. You're often far fucking right, darling. I do not know many people, your, shall we say, ancestry, who would sit there and defend the long strew of fucking Aryan white supremacist, let's call it, just genocidal fucking lunatics that you have. Fair play to you, darling, If you're going to do something wrong, if you're going to be a fucking idiot.
And when it comes to the progressive descent into degeneracy, man, was I ever right.
Oh, God, the progressive... Oh, because you're the first fucking person, aren't you? I haven't heard anyone else say anything. I hate to break this to you, Lauren, but nothing you or any of your ilk ever say is fucking original. You haven't got a single fucking solitary opinion that has ever stood out. It's a fucking It's like going to a karaoke night with one fucking song, and you all get up there and sing the same old new. Oh yeah, the fucking rights, the progressive, fall into degeneracy. Well, I haven't heard that from fucking Sargon of Akkad or Tim Paul, or I haven't heard that from Dave Rubin. I haven't heard that from literally every fucker. I haven't heard that from fucking Davis Orini. I haven't heard it from Roosh V, who's a fucking rapist. And I fucking and I will quite happily sit here and listen and be lectured on degeneracy, on being a degenerate from a woman who defends Holocaust deniers. Yeah. Plus, I think degeneracy in terms of in what you're talking is kind of subjective, isn't it? I mean, I've got the feeling that you think degeneracy is like, do your boyfriend push the beds together before you go? Does he take his socks off? Do you just have missionary sex for 2 minutes without folding his beige fucking pajamas?
Right, and by the way, before we really get into it, I do want to say that viewer discretion is advised for this video.
To be fair, I would put that before any fucking video that you've ever made. Warning, this video contains complete and utter bollocks spoken by a fucking hateful, bigoted moron. Do not take any of it seriously, for fuck's sake.
But I've been on the internet long enough that I remember a handful of years ago, my then fiance, now husband, and I were talking about kink at pride parades and how that was just really inappropriate to be doing that in public, regardless of whether it was two men or a man and a woman, just like whatever.
Darling, with all due respect, I think, and I'm not going to talk about kink at Pride, God knows you should, but have you ever been to a Pride festival? Of course you fucking haven't. What the fuck have you got to be proud of? You think it's inappropriate? Okay, don't fucking go. Your kids have got enough, any children that you fucking have got enough pissing things to fucking worry about before they worry about it. You and your husband talking about Pride. I think I speak for, even though I'm a straight cisgender man, and I don't go to Pride, and I don't really comment on things like kink at Pride. Do you know why? I'm not gay. I don't go to Pride. It's got nothing to do with me. It's their fucking business, right? But you think it's inappropriate. Okay. Do you know what? I and probably everybody else at Pride could give a fucking, doesn't give a steaming bolt of fucking red hot cocksnot at, from a fucking dead one-eyed donkey's left-handed Sunday morning wank what you fucking think about what's inappropriate. You think pride festivals, you think pride parades full stop are inappropriate. You think it's all fucking inappropriate. So why you would discuss the nuances of other things like kinks there is irrelevant to me, right? Because you think the whole fucking thing's disgusting. You think the whole thing is degenerate. So why the fuck does it matter? And who the fuck cares?
Keep that kind of behavior in private.
Why? What if my kink is rubbing my fetishes and my private sex life in the noses of fucking stuck up, fucking dried up, wrinkled, minge bitches like you, for no other reason than the fact that it annoys and upsets you gets me hard? Can't do that in private, can I?
And at the time, the leftist response was, as it usually is, half of them saying, no, this doesn't happen, you're making it up, you're a bigot. The other half saying, yeah, so what if it happens? If you don't like it, you're a bigot. That whole game.
Lauren, whatever the fucking result of this video, whatever you say, you are and always will be a bigot, my darling. But that's actually not true, right? There were quite a few, there were certain voices on the left who actually didn't fucking think that it was appropriate. I mean, one of them who was I don't know whether his position has changed. One of them was Vaush. He's hardly a fucking quiet. But there was actually a lot of people. But I didn't hear anybody say no, that doesn't happen. I mean, I don't know what you mean. You haven't actually said anything yet. You've just said kink at Pride. I mean, what is that? What is that? You're not going to go to what? You worried you're going to go to Pride and see two quadriplegic midgets in translucent PVC thongs doing their shit into an octogenarian nun's mouth, right? Because that would be cool. I would also like to point out that she's talking about kink at Pride. Now, you might remember, right, that's not... This video is about, specifically, zoophilia. You might have forgotten that. You wouldn't know that from the start, right, would you? At this point, you're probably sat here thinking, oh...
Now, just a handful of years later, we are actually at a point where not only is kink an established part of many pride parades in different cities, but we are discussing whether kink and children can belong at these pride parades together.
No, darling. You are discussing it. I'm not discussing it. The fact that it was still debated this year suggests it's not really established, and you don't know. And what does that even mean? Do you have any idea of the shit? Why do we have this fucking idea that kids see something a bit weird or unusual or different, and they completely and utterly, and a couple of years from now, this is it. You see two gay geezers, in very tight, short denim shorts, rollerblading down the street, holding with their hands in each other's pockets, and the next thing a couple of years down the line, your kid's rocking there, communicating only through writing on the padded cell walls in his own shit. You have no idea what fucking... We give kids no fucking credit. What has happened? Show me the fucking children. Show me where the fuck... Show me all these kids then. Right? There's gay pride festivals going on all over the world in every major city. There should be fucking hundreds of traumatised, right, fucking, kids everywhere. There should be demented kids out there, fucking, found, shagging roadkill or whatever, or jacking off to the lawnmower section of the Sears catalogue because, just the lingerie wasn't doing it for. Where are they? They're fucking nowhere, aren't they? There's none. You're worrying about fucking nothing. Gay people, for the most part, understand and have some decorum. And just because it's a pride festival doesn't mean that if you perform or appear in some extremely lewd and and explicit way in public that you still can't be done for that. It's still a crime, isn't it? So what is the problem? You worried there's going to be a load of geezers fucking just marching down with another geezer upside down 69 in dicks down the fucking street? Is that what you worried there's going to be an actual human centipede? No, it's not happening. It happens nowhere. Right? It's bollocks.
And there are people who actually say yes, both of those things together. Not only is that good, that is what we want. That is amazing.
I want children and dirty old queers to live together as one.
Several weeks ago, I did a video entirely about this topic, looking at actual real-world examples of people leftists on social media saying, yes, kink, pride, together, children, amazing.
Oh, you found people on social media. Well, there you go then, because you can't find any nusser who says fucking anything on social media.
Nigga, that's that bullshit. Nigga, that's that bullshit. They got me fucked up right now on that bullshit. Nigga, that's that bullshit. Nigga, that's that bullshit. Got us fucked up in here on that bullshit. Nigga, that's that bullshit. Nigga, that's that.
There you go, folks. She did a video about it. Am I going to watch it? Am I bollocks?
And even though I was using real-world examples of people saying these things, I still had people responding to me saying, well, that's just a handful of people online. That does not represent pride as a whole. You're just cherry-picking.
Well, yeah. Like I said, is this happening? Are children being forced to watch gay men cop off in the fucking middle of the street? Are they being wheeled in like fucking, with their fucking, is it like Clockwork Orange with their eyelids forced open? And that could be dangerous at a pride festival. Strapped into a gurney like Hannibal Lecter or like Garland Green in Con Air? Is that happening? No, it's not. We're nearly 2 minutes into her video and she still hasn't mentioned zoophilia. Yeah, she's still talking about, can you see where she's going with this? I can.
Here. Well, lo and behold, now we actually have someone in the Washington Post coming forward and saying, yeah, kids, pride, kink, together. Let's do it.
Oh, you have someone in the Washington Post. Wow, and they obviously are representative of everyone because they work for the Washington Post. How are you alive? Now, this is the bit from the Washington Post, including kink and pride, open space for families to have necessary and powerful conversations with young people about health, safety, consent, blah, blah, more importantly, pleasure. Yeah, you see, the problem here is Lauren, is that in your mind, kink is what we're about to see as the title of your video. As you're going to tenuously link this still. And this is linked, she links this quote, we're 3 minutes in. We're a fifth of the way through this video, and she's still talking about kink at Pride. In a video with the title Zoophilia, the slippery slope. Yeah, you get one of there's a kink for you, slippery slope, But kink doesn't mean that, And they're talking about sex for pleasure. Is that a bad thing? To say that it's okay to have sex for fun? Have you ever done anything for fun, Lauren? No, you need a fucking acetylene torch to get your fucking knickers off, don't you?
common misconception out there that right-wingers hate sex or that Christians hate sex. That is completely not the case.
I never would assume that, Lauren. The fact that, of course Christians don't hate sex. Be fruitful and multiply. It's, it's the fact that, you hate other... It's not that you hate sex. It's you hate other people's sex. You hate sex that other people have that you don't like or understand, because you think there's something wrong with it. You don't hate sex. The fucking boiled celery beige vanilla bullshit that you fucking probably call sex, I don't know. It's everyone else's sex that that you fucking that you insist on sticking your fucking sodding pissing nose into, when you could when it's none of your fucking business.
There is a difference between saying that sex is evil and bad and dirty and shameful versus saying that sex is good and special and necessary for the survival of our species.
Oh, yeah, I tell you what, lads. Oh, fucking hell. I mean, I tell you what, I wouldn't mind. I tell you what, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna take her back home, and I'm definitely gonna do it. And it's purely for the necessary for survival of our species. You dirty fucking bitch.
But it should be reserved for certain occasions and only between certain people.
Fucking bloody wow, I'd love to see your fucking your husband's fucking Google search history. Incognito mode is default for your fella, isn't it? It should be reserved for special occasions. Like what? What's the special occasions? We're alive, aren't we? Oh, it's the 15th Wednesday after Pentecost. Get your knickers off, darling. Fucking hell, Halley's Comet's coming. Thank fuck for that. But FYI, I'm not gonna. You're welcome to fucking think whatever you want about sex. You're welcome to think that it's special. Okay, yeah, it is special if you don't do it very often. Just because you do something a lot and with lots of different people all the time, just because you're a man whore or a slag, doesn't mean that it's still not fun. It's like lots of things you can do that are fucking, they don't lose their buzz. Go and ask any heroin addict, right? Some things never lose their fucking thrill. You would know that, but you would know that if you made sex a fucking more than a fucking biannual fucking event.
The former is what the left thinks the right believes about sex, whereas the latter is what the right actually believes about sex.
Oh, I see. You're speaking for the right now, are you? So if you're right wing to any degree, if you are part of the right, Lauren Chen is speaking for you. She understands what you want sexually. You do know Milo Yiannopoulos was part of the right, don't you? Oh yeah. He ain't a fucking degenerate, is he? He might be a fucking scumbag. Oh, God, at least he knew how to fucking enjoy himself.
It's like when parents tell their kids you can't have ice cream for breakfast. They're not saying that ice cream is bad, you just can't have ice cream for breakfast.
Yeah, that's a really good fucking analogy, that, isn't it? No, Timmy, you can't... No, little Timmy, you can't have anal for breakfast. No! We only have anal at the weekends. When mummy goes away. Yes. Now I give you some special sleepies potion, don't I? Yes. That was your analogy. Don't get pissed at me. You're the one who's comparing giving ice cream to children to sex, yeah? But that's the thing in it, Lauren, is that you're not a child, are you? You're an adult. As an adult, you can do whatever the fuck you want. You can have ice cream for breakfast, darling. If I could have ice cream for breakfast, I could eat ice cream out of the arsehole of a Playboy bunny if I wanted to. I could lick caviar off the taint of a 70-year-old tramp if I wanted to, because that's my fucking right. Because I'm an adult and I'm a big boy and I can do whatever the fuck I want.
And likewise, to all the progressives out there, I will say sex is not bad. You just can't have sex in public in front of children.
Lauren, nobody is suggesting that. Nobody is saying, let's have sex in public in front of children. Wouldn't that be a great idea? Nobody. You have just... See, now, this is where you build your straw man. Or say straw donkey, whatever, or straw sheep, right? You're nearly fucking 5 minutes into this video, and you are still talking about fucking kink at Pride. I know that in fucking Lauren's tiny little fucking mind, you know, that you think that this is, you're gonna fucking just seamlessly fucking sashay into zoophilia from this, as if this is the fucking logical progression. Could you get to the fucking point?
Like, do you see that distinction? Am I making sense?
No.
But from that Washington Post excerpt I just read you, it's pretty clear that for a lot of people nowadays, especially, their view of sex is completely, entirely about just pleasure, excitement, and joy.
See, again, that's not what it said. It's just saying that you can talk to kids about sex as an act of pleasure, because people like you, because it's the countermeasure that needs to be taken to undo the what people like you and what a lot of people have done for many years, which is shaming people for enjoying sex, for calling them degenerates, right, and deviants and perverts, and equating and suggesting there's something wrong with them. Right, that's what, because they think having sex more often than the fucking Olympic Games comes around is perfectly natural, and it's okay. It's okay. These are things you'll feel, and it's okay to feel those things. That's it. It doesn't. No one's saying you have to be at it non-stop. That's not it. So not only are you now strawmanning what kink is, you're strawmanning the article you've just cited.
But the thing is, when that is your only bar as to whether sex is or is not acceptable or moral...
But that's not the only bar, is it? It's not a question of whether it's moral or not. What is wrong? Why are you so against people having fun? So okay, flat out, tell us then. Okay, Lauren, I need you to educate me on it, and seeing as how you're making this the issue, I need you to fucking tell me, how many times is acceptable? When it's done for purely procreation, however often that is, but how many times is acceptable? How many times do you fucking do it? And we'll take that as that's the yardstick, if you know what I mean. And you might say that's none of my fucking business. Well, I'm afraid it fucking is, actually. You're making it. You are taking your fucking, sex life and suggesting that you're doing it properly.
Well, that can leave the door open to some pretty terrible things.
No, actually, it doesn't leave the door open. It's not saying pleasure is good, full stop, regardless of how you do it. That is not the point either. They're just saying that having sex for fun, because there's fuck all else to do, that's it. It's not saying, if you enjoy, it's not saying if it feels good, do it. Yes, that includes if you want to anally rape your grandmother using the body of a dead baby as a condom. If it feels good, it's perfectly moral. Nobody said that, Lauren. You lying bitch. If you fuck like you talk bollocks, Jesus Christ, your husband must be a grease spot in a mattress.
Namely, animal loving.
Oh, of course, because that's the thing, isn't it? Because that's what happens, isn't it? People, they enjoy animal loving. They enjoy, you have sex and you get to a point, I'm bored of all this shagging. Can someone bring me that goat over? Yeah. Can we start, I want to start doing it with barnyard animals. Because that's what happens, isn't it? You fucking stupid cow. Pardon, no, there you go. I'm not sure whether it's, at this stage of the fucking, listening to this fucking crap you're talking, I think having sex with you is an act of fucking, is quite frankly, it's a form of exploiting the mentally handicapped.
And I did warn you with that viewer discretion warning. I wasn't kidding.
You wrote zoophilia in the title, sweetheart. Do you think people have not heard of this before? Do you think people haven't heard of this? Of course they fucking have. Do you know what you should do? Look up zoo sadism. There's a wonderful documentary on Cecil McFly's channel. It's 3 parts. It's about 4.5 hours. That is some fucking disgusting evil shit. And it didn't happen at a Pride festival.
We're going to be getting into some very, very questionable things. First, though, I do want to remind you all that I now have my own locals community where I am posting exclusive content.
Hey, are we going to get into some questionable things? We're going to be talking about fucking sheep. But before we do that, please, why not sign up and join my community before we get into this, before we do this video and I sit here and, and as I somehow, in the future, at Pride Festival, people are going to be fucking horses. Now, what Lauren does is she links to a website, a blog on a website called Unheard. Now, Unheard is just literally that. It's a blogging site. It's for various. It's not one that anyone can join, but it's a place for various types of writers. And she links to an article called "Why is Bestiality So Disgusting?" And it was written by a guy called Tom Chivers. I don't know if it's Chivers or Chivers, but he's actually a science journalist. He's a science writer. And this is actually, the funny thing is, Lauren is talking about this like it's a real argument. Interestingly, one that Big Joel recently made a video about after something on Twitter that happened. But it's actually a debate that or a question that's been debated for many years. Lauren, this ain't new.
Shower with sugar lumps and riding over fences, polish your hooves every single day and bring you to the horse dentist.
Tom Chivers, is not a zoophile. He has never had sex with a horse. He doesn't want to have sex with a horse. But he does eat meat. He comes to the conclusion, his personal conclusion from this, and I'm not going through the fucking article, is that from a utilitarian point of view, in his opinion, right, that actually, you can't sit there and say, that not only can you not sit there and separate those two acts, but you could argue that, bestiality is less, is actually less detrimental, or is less, disgusting or awful way to treat an animal than farming them and killing them and eating them. But as Big Joel in his video mentioned, he looks at it from the position of the mindset of the people, of the person who's actually, engaging in the act. So a person who's eating meat is not deriving any kind of personal pleasure from that, right? That's all this is. This is not an argument for legalising bestiality. It is simply posing a very simple, question: is why is this bad? Why is this disgusting? Why is this unacceptable? But this, which is seemingly worse, what would you rather be? Let's put you in that position. Would you rather be, if you were the animal, would you rather, be sexually interfered with by someone, or would you rather be born, farmed, and then put into a truck, and then fucking cramped in cramped conditions and have a bolt put in your head, hung upside down, have your throat slit, and then be minced up so people can eat you, and that's it. What would you rather? Would you rather be a battery chicken? What would you rather be? One of those sounds more preferable. That's it. It's simply it's not an argument for one or the other. I actually contacted Tom Chivers on Twitter and asked him if he interested in seeing your video, and I basically summarised it. You're arguing that basically this is an argument for bestiality, even though at the end he's not interested in it, and that this is a slippery slope from tolerating other forms of degeneracy at gay pride. And his response was, haha, that's amazing. Because it's complete, because you're talking out of your shitting hole, Lauren. You're talking out of your shitting anus. I wouldn't mind that, were it not for the fact that Lauren, she can't even fucking deal with the issue of bestiality or zoophilia or sexually abusing animals without making a complete and utter fucking pig's arse of it.
So, okay. You used to be a prude if you were just, waiting until marriage.
He didn't say that you're a prude if you're not interested in fucking horses. You could have got a fucking sheep or a horse to do a video response here, and they'd have done a better pissing job of it, I just want to point this out. You see that little she has got a horse on a little horse ornament on the. I'm just saying, it's there. It's in the background. Why would you have it? Unless you think horses are sexy. I'm just saying, you're the one with the fucking little horse sex doll, Lauren, not fucking me.
This is only true if you believe that sex, again, has no inherent moral, spiritual, or relationship-based meaning.
Sex has a spiritual meaning. Oh, fucking piss off. Right, go and have sex spiritually. If you take all of the physical aspect out of sex, right? You can throw that spiritual, fucking metaphysical bullshit onto it, because all that deep, that sort of deep meaning to it. You can do that because you're having it. But if you haven't, you can't have metaphysical sex, Lauren. Go and try and have it. And you have this idea that you have to be in some form of relationship with someone to do it. You don't have to. That doesn't mean it doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean you don't have, affection or feelings, or, you don't have, there's nothing, be emotionally connected there. It doesn't mean that. I know this is difficult for someone as fucking, as emotionally stunted as yourself. Because you've lived this boring, fucking, miserable, fucking sheltered life. Where you've denied yourself fucking pleasure. Because you've been taught that it's fucking wrong. Well, I'm sorry, I wipe a monkey's fucking arse with what you think, and that's all I'll fucking do to his arse too.
Which is something that progressives argue for, but it's not something that I, as a Christian, or a right-winger, or just, not a pervert, argue for.
I'm not a right winger or a Christian or a pervert. I don't. Perversion for you is probably leaving the lights on, right? Two sexual positions. One of them's conscious, right? I don't give a shit what you fucking think. At no point is anyone going to stop and go, what would Lauren Chen think of this? I wonder whether she would not approve of this. That would be a fucking staple. And again, you equate this to progress. What has this got to do with kink at pride festivals? This is a random blog written by a guy simply asking a question, and it's not a new one. You would know that if you did some fucking basic research. No one thinks you're not a pervert. I would say pervert is a little bit of an unfair. I don't think that's extreme enough for someone who wants to fuck animals.
Yeah, if you're someone who is completely of the opinion that, you're a materialist, a hedonist, then, you personally probably don't have an answer as to why sex with a horse is immoral. But for other people who see sex as intrinsically, inherently, and inescapably something that has significance as the act that creates life, actually, yeah, you can answer why you can eat a horse, as we are kind of meant to do as omnivores, but not have sex with a horse, which is just a perversion of not only nature, but also morality.
Yeah, but Lauren, nobody at any point has said to you, you have to live your life. You can do whatever the fuck you want. Nobody has fucking tried to force you to do otherwise. I personally would recommend it. In the immortal words of Ferris Bueller, if we stuck a lump of coal up your arse in a fortnight, we'd have a diamond.
Because horses cannot consent.
Horses... hold on. You say that. But I once asked a horse if he wanted to have sex and it went, nay! There you go. You can have that for free, see? And as far as consent goes, no, they can't consent. And that's the point. But they also don't consent to anything. They don't consent to anything else. When was the last time an animal consented to anything you did? Does all that meat that's cut up in fucking cellophane and in did that consent? Do the chickens in battery farms fucking consent? Do the animals we keep as pets, did they fucking consent to it? No. When it comes to being born, none of us fucking consented. Did you ask to fucking be here? No. None of us asked to fucking be here. But so what? It can't. That's the issue. It can't consent, Lauren. Do you think someone who's into that is really interested? Because it can't do anything, can it? You know, it can't consent or refuse because it's a fucking horse. Why would it consent? Why would you even... In order for it to consent, you would have to fucking ask it first. And what kind of nutter not only wants to fuck a horse, but is chivalrous enough to ask if it's fucking up for it in the first place? What kind of stupid fucking point is this? Christ!
Well, I am of the belief, and a vegan might disagree with me, but if it's not immoral for a lion to eat a zebra, then it's not immoral for me to eat a zebra.
Did you hear that? She literally said that. That is a sentence she said. Because she thought that was a fucking worthwhile and cogent point to make. If it's not immoral for a lion to eat a zebra, it's not immoral for you. So you base your morality on what a lion does. Or do you just not like zebras? Is it because they're black and white and that's the closest to multiculturalism you get? It's literally fucking... This is literally Nazis without aptitude being made real. It's okay for a fucking lion to eat a zebra. What do you mean it's morally okay? It's not a moral fucking... It's not moral, you stupid fucking cow. The lion doesn't have any... The lion's not sat there. The lion's not having a philosophical quandary about it. He's a fucking lion. That's what they do. He doesn't have the options we fucking have. So you're saying it's okay for you to morally justify your diet based on what other animals do? Why choose a lion? Why not choose another animal? An animal that doesn't eat fucking zebras? Or are you just desperate to eat fucking zebras? I don't fucking know. Because I have no idea. All I can ascertain from this is that Lauren Chen fucking hates zebras and wants to kill them. This is a... How can you fuck this up this badly? Now, at this stage, I'm just going to leave that, because I don't think... I can't be asked beyond that. I mean, I'm sorry, but if you sat there and listened to that sentence and think, yeah, this is a woman who's got her fucking head screwed on, right? Then I can't fucking help you. But let's fucking forget all this thing, because let us remember, she's reading this random blog on this little website, which is literally called Unheard. And she's using this as somehow a way of proving that progressives ultimately want us to degenerate to a point where everything is open and fucking out. We start off, first we tolerate gays, then we have gay pride, then we have transgenders, and then we have fucking kink at pride, and next thing you know, we're going to be fucking animals. Right? And I find that interesting, Lauren. Here is a list of countries where bestiality or certain acts of bestiality are still legal, but gay marriage isn't. Number 1, Japan. As of 2018, Japan has no laws against bestiality nor the sale or ownership of pornography that features animals or sexual acts. Japan does not recognise same-sex marriage on a national basis, although there are 7 cities within it that fucking do. Russia. Now, I really don't need to go into detail about Russia's problems when it comes to homosexuality, but Russia has no laws in Russia outlawing sex between humans and animals. Chile. is another country that has not banned sex between humans and animals, but maintains a ban on same-sex marriage. In Romania, there's no legal recognition of same-sex couples in Romania. There was a proposal to try and bring it in 2013, but that failed. But it does continue to be legal. It's legal to have sex with animals in the country. There is no penal code, and they have failed to criminalise the act of sex with animals. The Philippines, there's no laws against fucking animals or bestiality in the Philippines. Now, you would think, wouldn't you, that if bestiality is the actual slippery slope, Lauren, from, tolerating and, embracing homosexual, LGBTQ lifestyles, etc., etc., if you think that's the natural progression, then why is it that bestiality is already legal in all these countries that are full of homophobes? That makes no sense. And the problem with the slippery slope, darling, is with a slippery slope, the reason it's fallacious is that you've chosen to start the slippery slope at a certain point, rather than go back. Let's say gay marriage was the start of the slippery slope. Well, I could say that if you go further back up the slope, then you could say, well, what led to gay marriage? Well, marriage. What led to marriage? Religion. So there's your fucking problem, darling. In fact, here's a fascinating thing for you. In the 20th century, there was a load of countries that actually legalised it. That actually legalised zoophilia. Right? It was legalised in Russia in 1903, in Denmark, including Greenland and the Faroes, in 1933, in Iceland in 1940, in Sweden in 1944, in Hungary in 1961, in West Germany 1969, Austria 1971, Finland in 1971, and Norway in 1972. In fact, in the UK in 2003, the Sexual Offences Act of 2003 actually lowered the criminal penalty for bestiality. A lot of these countries have since rolled these back, but most of these countries have either had no laws or have actually made it is perfectly legal at some point, way before gay people. In this country, gay people were still being sent to prison. It was illegal to be gay. You would know this if you fucking learn anything, but you don't, because what you're doing is basically something that the far-right Christian, anti-gay, homophobic Christian far-right have been doing for decades now, probably centuries, and that is you are trying to equate homosexuality, any form of sexual abnormality, I suppose you'd call it, any form of sexual deviance or degeneracy. You want to equate it with bestiality. The same way the Catholic Church, though every time a priest gets caught fiddling kids, he's not, that priest, he's not a pedophile, no, he's gay. That's homosexuality is the same thing as pedophilia. It's fucking pathetic. You want to sit there and fucking bang on and on about being as a Christian and not a pervert? Here, let me link you to a website below and some stuff that might interest you that you should probably read. You want to talk about degeneracy, called childusa.org, and it's about believe it or not, child marriage in America, which still goes on. Alabama had 8,600 marriages occurring between 2000 and 2015, including the marriage of a 14-year-old girl to a 74-year-old man. That happens across all of the United States between 2000 and 2015. 200,000 minors were married. Right now, 67% of them were 17, 29% were 16, 4% were 15, and 1%, just under 1%. Were 14 or under. There were 51 cases of 13-year-old girls getting married and 6 cases of 12-year-old girls getting married. And this still carries on. In most US states, the minimum age for minors that have parental consent ranges from 12 to... So, in most US states, a 12-year-old girl can get married to a fucking middle-aged man as long as the parents consent. In some states, such as Massachusetts, for boys, it's 14 is the minimum age, but for girls, it's 12. So they can get married in a church in front of God. That's okay. Yeah, you're fucking kids, but you know what? It's fucking kids the way your God intended, isn't it? And you have the fucking gall to sit there and stick your fucking snotty fucking nose and down and fucking judge gay people and judge people who are transgender or lesbian or bi or whatever the fuck. You have the gall to sit there and demonise and fucking worry about what kids might see. Whereas all your good right-wing Christian fucking buddies, we won't see what's happening to them because they're locked away. They've been fucking, they've had a ring put on it. So why don't you think about that, Lauren? You good right-wing non-perverted Christian. Why don't you think about that the next time you want to try and fucking pull this slippery slope bullshit? You absolute rancid, hate-mongering, fucking frigid, dried up old fucking bitch. Now fuck off. Ladies and gentlemen, my name's Dick Coughlin. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have enjoyed it, please, again, subscribe, like, comment, do whatever. But please also support me on Patreon. In fact, I'll be doing a special Patreon exclusive video as a follow-up to this, which is going to be a bit more light-hearted. And I hope you enjoy that. So go support me on Patreon for as little as $1, hope maybe more, and you'll get to see that bonus video when it's up. My name's Brother Neuro. Where there's no sense, there's no feeling. And you know all about that, don't you, Lauren?